friends. Welcome to yet another edition of Shantiniketan Literature Festival online mode. There are some of us here. Uh, Before going into the actual program, let me first give you a little background. Though it is repetitive, I have to do it almost every day because we get fresh set of people. So, Shantiniketan Literature Festival began almost accidentally. The name or the event. We run an online magazine called differenttruths.com, which is the official host of SLF. SLF means Shantiniketan Literature Festival. So every year during summer, or at least for last 2-3 years, we have been meeting somewhere or the other once a year, because that is also the time when our managing editor, Anumita Roy, who stays in the US, she comes for around a month, maybe a little more, little less. So we try and have something in Kolkata or around Kolkata. Last year it was in Kolkata, and this time Anumita suggested, why don't we, meet at Shantiniketan? So just this casual reference set me into a search, and I found, to my utter dismay and shock, that there was nothing called Shantiniketan Literature Festival nor Shantiniketan Literary Festival. I searched thoroughly. I asked others to find out. And I found out from some of my friends at Shantiniketan. They said, no, we have a lot of programs, but those are the programs which probably Kaviguru had started, and they continue, but none of them bear this name, right? So the first thing first, I quickly applied for trademark registration. You will see everywhere with SLF, there's a circle and there's TM written. We already have 2 trademark with us, Kavyakum, under which we publish, we have the Kavyakum Publishing Consultants, and we have Different Truths, which is our online magazine. So I knew that if we apply, it will take 18 months to 24 months. So first of all, I did that, so that the name, you put a stop to the name and nobody else can claim it if you have claimed it earlier. So that's one of the thing. So having done that, then we started talking to people. We started preparing some flyers. We launched a website, and suddenly we found that people from all over the country, also from various parts of the world, were eager to come and participate in SLF, which was happening at Shantiniketan. Now, often we Bengalis are under the impression that Tagore belongs to Bengalis, which is totally wrong. He's everyone's, and no one can claim Tagore because he used the word Vishwa Kavi. We use the word Vishwa Kavi because he also set up that Vishwa Bharati, that global thing was already there in his mind much before we were talking of things like global, which is global plus local, or the global village. Even before these terms came into use, Kaviguru R. Rabindranath Tagore was already doing that. Google gave us 2 different figures. We can't trust Google, I'm told, by academics, and we have quite a few of you here. But then, since we don't have a quick check any place, so we found that one set of results showed that he had traveled some 30 plus countries. Another showed that he had been to 52 countries. Now, even if we take the lower figure or a mean of the two, it would be around 40. We can safely say that. Or even if it's 30 plus, that's a huge 30, 32, 37, that kind of a figure was coming. So we don't know which one is right. So we are talking of a time when we had slower vehicles, when, we were possibly traveling by bullock carts mostly, or some other means. Things weren't as fast as now. There were no airplanes, I believe, at that time, or even if they were meant for fighting, or carrying mails. So we find that despite all these hurdles, here was a man who could travel to so many countries, and not only travel there, he networked with people. Now we are networked with each other, courtesy Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, various kind of, you can go on and on till tomorrow. But Tagore had none of these. So despite these hurdles, these obstacles, he was so well networked, so deeply entrenched. He had friends his friends were like Tolstoy or Einstein or G.B. Shaw, uh, uh, Yeats, just you name it. I mean, they were all over, right? And there were to various countries he went. He struck that friendship and he maintained it also. He would write letters regularly in the afternoon hours. So, having said that, Shantiniketan Literature Festival, as we're coming back to the original thing, it happened rather a sweet accident of sorts. We call it serendipity, a better word. Hmm. So, it was serendipity that SLF was launched, and suddenly we found that people from all over the country had arrived for our physical meet, where Orunima was also there with us. Uh, in fact, Orunima is one of our anchors at Bolpur Shantiniketan. She and another gentleman, Kishore Bhattacharya, they were the two great pillars on which we could kind of catapult ourselves out there. Hmm? So we had people from all over. And believe me, before the festival started in August, a month before that, I had been to Shantiniketan trying to meet people, do a recce of sorts, and met people at Vishwabharati. They were all very welcome, very kind and very nice. But on the day of the inauguration, they also realized, along with all of us, that it was way, way bigger than any one of us could have thought of. Kollal was there. We can see Kollal as a guest out here. So, so suddenly we had so much interest. Of course, Vishwabharati doesn't have a vice chancellor for last 4 5 years, and they are managing with an acting vice chancellor. So, therefore, we could not go into a proper MOU with them. But despite that, informally, there was a whole lot of support. The people from Sangeet Bhavan were there for us to sing songs, and beautiful songs, melodious songs. And we had somebody from Hindi Bhavan. We had the librarian who was so kind that all the poets, Kollal was one of them, the poets and writers could donate their books on my request, and Dr. Nimai Chand Saha was very, very kind that he sort of allowed the donation of books at the library. Some function was held, and every person who visited SLF this year, and all those who had brought their books, who had launched their books, they could donate copies of that to Shantiniketan, Vishwabharati Shantiniketan University, where a copy of the books are there. This is something very unique for SLF. I believe there are so many literary festivals. I don't want to name anybody, but you see, this is one feature which I'm sure no one is able to provide. So, courtesy Gurudev, his blessings, I would say that all this happened, magic happened, because without his grace, these would not have been possible. So now I have talked enough. I've told you a lot about Shantiniketan Literature Festival. Now I would request the MC of the day, Orunima Das, who is with us. Orunima, please unmute yourself. And you could now invite the poet, begin with our chief guest, Ketuki Dotto, and you have the order with you. So one by one, you please read their bio and round one. Everybody, I suppose, has a round one. So except Shubhro, who has only round one. So your round one can go easily. Then we come to round two and so on. So Orunima, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm muting myself.
Esteemed guests, friends, writers, you are great literary people, and it is an honor to welcome you today to the SLF online session. This is our 10th day that the online session is happening. So I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. The participants today are Dr. Ketuki Dotto, Chief Guest, Anju Makhija, our Guest of Honor, Dr. Pradeep Kaur Rajpal, Shubhro Shorangshu Pujari, and Orindom, our host. So let me give a brief introduction about everybody so that we get to know each other a little better. Dr. Ketuki Dotto, our chief
Arunima,
guest.
just a minute. You will call them one by one. Read one bio, call them, and then next persons. Not
Okay,
all the
all
bio
right.
together. Right? Okay.
Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, that makes better sense. Yes. So our first speaker of this evening is going to be Dr. Ketuki Dotto, our chief guest. Dr. Ketuki Dotto is an associate professor of English with Goenka College, Kolkata. She is a poet, novelist, reviewer, and translator. Her recent book of translation is The Value of Woman, originally Narir Mullo by Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay, and book of short story collection is called An Unshared Secret and Other Stories. Oral Stories of the Totos is her book on tribal folklore, published by Sahitya Academy. She has a book of poems and photos with Professor Wilfrid Rosser of Bielefeld University. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Uh, Biele-
Bielefeld
Bi- Bielefeld University,
University,
Germany.
Germany. Yeah,
Uh,
right.
Today, Dr. Ketuki will read a paper titled 100 Years of Gitanjali and Beyond. It deals with the purport of a few poems from Gitanjali and their undying appeal to the readers till date. So, over to you, Dr. Ketuki Dattu.
Good evening. Thank you, Arunima, for the kind introduction. Thank you, Mr. Orindam Roy, my dada, for this invite, warm invite. And of course, I'm indebted to all of you for quote unquote taking me as the chief guest, though I am just a guest. And I'm so honored that I cannot express my gratitude to you. So without much ado, I'm going to the paper, 100 Years of Gitanjali and Beyond. Gitanjali is still read with much enthusiasm. But the story of writing Gitanjali, which had won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913, that is something to ponder over, to think over once again. And a slew of queries come up our minds early. Was it equally welcomed by the people of India when Tagore was announced as a recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature? Or was Tagore himself confident about his being nominated for the prestigious award in literature, which is of highest acclaim? Or were the translations in English at par in essence with the original Bengali counterpart? It is really interesting to note that W.B. Yeats, in his introduction to Gitanjali, writes, I quote, those prose translations from Rabindranath Tagore have stirred my blood. Please note these words, tired my blood, as nothing has done for years. These lyrics, which are in the original, my Indians tell me, full of subtlety of rhythm, of untranslatable delicacies of color, of metrical invention, displaying their thought of world I have dreamt of all my life long. I unquote. Again, it is really interesting to note that Gitanjali had been published in original Bengali in 1910 as a collection of 157 lyrics. These poems had been written between 1908 and 1910, and at least 20 of them were first included in the play Sharud Utsav 1908 and Goon 1909. Gitanjali in English got published in 1912. However, it was not a translation of the entire Bengali book, but Tagore selected only 51 poems from the Bengali collection, along with 18 from Gitimallo, 16 from Naivedya, 11 from Kea, 13 from Shishu, and one each from Choitali, Sharon, Kalpana, Utsargu, and Ochulayutam. And it is really interesting to note that Tagore translated all these 51 poems with perfect elan, rather quite adroitly, holding the sense of the original into prose in English. Gitanjali, the rendering in English is really a wonder, loaded with gems of spiritual feelings, written in easy yet powerful diction. Whitman once wrote in the opening lines of its uh, Leaves of Grass, a child said, "What is the grass?" Fetching it to me with full hands. How could I answer the child? I do not know what it is any more than he. Tagore's lines in Gitanjali carry an all-pervasive sense of mysticism, a sense of the presence of God throughout the universe, in a somewhat pantheistic sense of Wordsworth. The lines with which the book of prose translation begins are, "Thou hast made me endless, তুমি আমায় অশেষ করেছ." Such is thy pleasure. This frail vessel thou emptiest again and again, and fillest it ever with fresh life. These lines remind us of Tagore's love for the Supreme Being, the Emersonian oversoul again and again. He really holds infinity in the palm of his hand and eternity in an hour, without a speck of doubt, as Blake said. Again, almost all the poems of Gitanjali are song offerings to God, the Almighty. As we see in the following song, number 27, there is an absolute submission to God. He came and sat by my side, but I woke not. What a cursed sleep it was, oh miserable me! He came when the night was still. He had his harp in his hands, and my dreams became resonant with its melodies. Atmanan Vidhi, know thyself. That is the message. The barb of sarcasm pierces through and through the bloated, egoistic eye and brings out our illusion with its glossy, though fake exterior, which we love so dearly. He whom I enclose, this is from number 29. He whom I enclose with my name is weeping in this dungeon. I'm very busy building this wall all around. And as this wall goes up into the sky, day by day, I lose sight of my true being in its dark shadow. In song numbers 22 and 23, we are sure to come across the same feeling of oneness with the Supreme Soul. In both the songs, there is an avidity to get united with the ultimate being. In the deep shadows of the rainy July, with secret steps, thou walkest silent as night, eluding wall watchers. Thou art the solitary wayfarer in the deserted street. This is number 22. And number 23, I can see nothing before me. I wonder where lies thy path. By what dim shore of the ink-black river, by what far edge of the frowning forest, through what mazy depth of the gloom art thou threading thy course to come to me, my friend? Almost in all the songs of Gitanjali and in song offerings, we find that there is a reflection of an optimistic attitude towards life. There is no advocacy for love which can bind each to each, as Wordsworth said, binding each to each, a categorical declaration of his presence in every moment of our life. He is present, Almighty is present. Are hapless, and there is a saga of freedom and patriotism. We can refer to song numbers 26, 27, 28, 35. I am not going to quote from them, just one or two lines from song number 35, which is a very, very well-known poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. In almost all the songs of Gitanjali, Rabindranath Tagore is talking about God, human being, himself, man in general, and his submission, and of course, the supplication. I'm not going into song number 52, 51, 33, which are all imbued with the spirit. Tagore even offered his creativity to Lord's feet, waiting for his recognition, song number 66. In each strand of nature, in each fold of the world's beauty, Tagore finds the manifestation of the dearest friend. Thou art the sky, thou art the nest as well. Number 67. With fond delight thou wrappest about thy starry breast that mantle of mist cloud, number 68. In his memorable essay, Manushe Dharma, the religion of man, Tagore says in explicit terms, I quote, man is attaining the status of a great man by transcending the limits of his individuality, along with the elevation of his own self. This is his highest striving, the ardent worship for being a great human being, I unquote. In song number 71 to 73, Tagore showcases the wisdom of the Upanishads. I am not quoting though. In the subsequent songs, the poet keeps registering his various experiences on earth, which all he offers is in the altar of his God without any reservation. And the summum bonum of the realization of here and now is thus reached. In song number 103, these lines will hold out an appeal to you, I'm very much sure. Let all my songs gather together, their diverse strains into a single current and flow, to a sea of silence in one salutation to thee. It was really difficult for the poet to translate Gitanjali word to word in a poetic form and still keep the essence of the original intact. So umpteen questions came up whether Tagore's translation was up to the mark. Even Ketuki Kushari Dyson wrote that Tagore was a very bad translator. However, Tagore did the translations mostly on a whim, when his journey to England was deferred because of his indisposition in March 1912. If I take the liberty of referring to a letter Tagore had penned to his niece Indira Devi at this juncture, that is 6th May 1913 from London, it may prove detrimental to the whole point I'm trying to make. However, to be frank and fair, Tagore's points of view cannot be lost sight of, which I feel is much more authentic to gauge the necessity of the song offerings in its making. I quote, "You have alluded to the English translation of Gitanjali." Tagore is writing, "I cannot imagine to this day how people came to like it so much. That I cannot write English is such a patent fact that I never had even the vanity to feel ashamed of it," unquote. Though for some time, the false surmise that Yeats helped Tagore to refine and edit his translations did rounds, it is vehemently refuted by Tagore scholars like William Radice, and I quote, "It crops
Ketuki, we have lost you.
Yes, I'm very sorry.
Yeah,
Though for some time, yes, I quote, "It crops up in surprising places. For example, the editor of Yeats's correspondence with Thomas Sturge Moore states in a note on a reference to Gitanjali, Yeats, who wrote the introduction, has helped Tagore to learn English." Very sad. W.V. Yeats and T. Sturge Moore, their correspondence in 1901 to 1937, if I can quote, 1953, page 190. The exact extent of Yeats's editorial guidance is hard to determine, as the proofs or drafts have not survived. Radice is answering. But there are minimal discrepancies between the manuscript versions of the translations and the published text. I am not going far into the paper, but my aim was to look back and unearth the truth that remains behind the travails of the poet in creating Gitanjali and the post-birth pangs that came associated with it. It stands proved that Tagore had translated with the blood that flowed in his vessels and with the mind that could imagine. It stands proved, really, at last, that a creation stays for long, well sustained, well accepted, fondly remembered, if it has tiger in its tank, if it has fire in its bosom, it sings of life, sings of the creator behind all creations. And of course, to quote Tagore, this is a befitting finale to this writing. My religion is my life. It is growing with my growth. It has never been grafted on me from outside. I had denied God when I was younger, just as a flower in its pride of blossoming youth completely ignores the fruit which is its perfection. Really, I unquote, and really, I am really indebted to you for giving me this opportunity to reading out my paper to you. Of course, a part I read, and now I draw your attention. This is the finale to my lecture or whatever. I was teaching "The Grass is Singing" by Doris Lessing to the MA students in a college here, you know. And I was mesmerized to find how could Doris Lessing write this in 1951 in this novel, The Grass is Singing. I quote her. In towns, women like her live vicariously in the lives of the film stars. Or they take up religion, preferably one of the more sensuous Eastern religions, better educated, living in the town with access to books. She would have found Tagore, perhaps. You see, she could have found Tagore, perhaps, and gone into a sweet dream of words. With this, I express my gratitude to my Dada, to Onutama and Orunima, and I stop here.
Thank you, Ketuki. Thank you for that wonderful erudite presentation. I would like to add a few things that Ketuki has already said. First is there are quite a few misgivings about Gitanjali also. One is that Gitanjali fetched him the Nobel Prize.
Yes.
It was in fact an operative force in fetching him the Nobel Prize, but in the citation of the Nobel Prize, which I had seen somewhere, it says for his Gitanjali and his body of works. The body of works, you know, these three words makes it clear that it was not
Rabindranath Tagore was very candid, in whatever he was doing. In Song of Rings, when he had taken the medley of the poems from
I'm talking about what the Nobel Prize Committee had talked about, not what Tagore had talked about here, right? So we Bengalis, all of us, including me, we were under the impression that he got the Nobel Prize for Gitanjali alone. Gitanjali and his body of works, you know. So this becomes very operative part, number one. Number two, I belong to Allahabad, some of you know, which is now called Prayagraj, much to my dismay. But you see, interestingly, the copy which had W.B. Yeats's foreword, that copy was published at Allahabad.
Oh, yes, you told me. You told me
I
before,
told you
over the phone. And I was really overjoyed to learn that.
Yeah.
I was overjoyed.
The Indian
and I
press,
was also overjoyed to find how Doris Lessing.
Okay, so
she was also Nobel laureate.
Yeah.
Tagore, perhaps.
I'll come to that. I'll come to that point just now, just in a moment. Ketuki, let me allow me to conclude. Others are waiting also. Please. So
thank you.
So now the second thing is that copy was published at Allahabad because Chintamani Ghosh, right? He was the person. They already had a press in Kolkata, and he was the one who started the press. It's a huge kind of a campus still, though the press it is in a dilapidated state now. So Indian press is the one where this book was published, right? This is very interesting. Thirdly, one of my professors, while I was doing my post-graduation in English, you know, Arvind Krishna Malhotra and others, I don't remember who told me now, but he was also a teacher. I believe it was Professor Manas Mukul Das, whom we lost at the end of last month. He told us during a tutorial seminar, which had lesser students, right, that Tagore got the Nobel Prize. One of the contributing factor is the historical milieu of that time.
Maybe that is to some extent true.
Let me finish. So you see, what we had the World War I, and in fact, when he got the prize was actually handed over to him physically a couple of years later, because at that time the World War I was on. So Tagore becomes one of the important voices of the poets between the wars. We had a whole lot, it is very well catalogued in the West, but we haven't done it here. The poet,
Yes, I
the,
told that.
the poet between the wars. So that was also another contributing factor. And I believe
Yes.
it was the healing touch, the Upanishad, the mysticism, these things were perhaps acting as a balm to the soul, mind and soul of people.
Yeah, that
So
is
that
true.
that was also another reason.
Lost everyone in his
Yeah,
life,
yeah. So
almost one after
thank
another.
you. Thank you now.
Thank you very much.
Orunima, I'm now calling you to please call the second person. Orunima, over to you.
Ketiki ma'am, thank you for that extremely erudite and insightful, uh,
Thank
I
you,
would say, a
Arunima.
synopsis of your paper, which I'm sure is much more rich than what you could share with us today in this short span of time. I would now like to introduce Anju Makhija ma'am to all of you. She is our guest of honor today. Anju Makhija is a Sahitya Academy award-winning poet, playwright, and translator. She has written three poetry collections, including View from the Web and Pickling Season, co-translated Freedom's Fishers and Seeking the Beloved, the mystical verse of Shah Abdul Latif, co-edited three anthologies related to women, Indo-English theatre and young readers. Her collection of drama, Mumbai Traps Collected Plays, is widely available. Her latest book is Changing, Unchanging, New and Selected Poems from 1995 to 2023. Anju has won several awards, including the Sahitya Academy English Translation Prize, the All India Poetry Competition, the BBC World the BBC World Regional Poetry Prize, and the Charles Wallace Trust Fellowship. She has been on the English Advisory Board of the Sahitya Academy, New Delhi, for 5 years and is the co-founder of the Pondicherry Auroville Poetry Festival. Today, Anju will present a paper named Tagore as Playwright. Tagore is mainly known as a poet and lyricist. However, he had written several plays in his lifetime. Many of them were performed at Shantiniketan. He was influenced by the old traditions as well as the modern drama trends of the West in his time. So over to you, Anju Makhija ma'am.
Please unmute yourself. Anju, please unmute yourself. Anju, can you hear us? Please unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Please unmute yourself. I don't know, she can't hear us.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's better. Please, please
Okay.
continue. Yeah, please start.
Okay. Is it fine now?
Yeah, it's perfect. All right.
Okay. Well, I'm using the small mobile because the comp was giving trouble as happens sometimes. And video is okay now, right? So shall I start? Can I start?
Please do
Hello?
start. We are waiting for you.
Okay.
Please do.
Okay. So again, first of all, thank you for having me here. And she mentioned that we organize the Pondicherry Auroville Poetry Festival. So I know how difficult it is to have such a long festival as is being done here. And it's really quite amazing that you've been able to carry it for so many days. We have it for 2 days and you're pretty exhausted in the process. So it's good that you have that. Well, I won't be presenting a paper for the simple reason that I told Arindatam that I'm not a scholar or I'm not really that familiar with Tagore's plays. So I shall refrain from presenting a paper. What I shall do instead is make some observations and tell you a bit about his plays and the ones that have been staged here and abroad. So that'll give you an overview. And as she said before, Datta said that because of his output in poetry and other, lyrics, his plays were not that famous. And eventually they were only performed at Shantiniketan after a period of time. They were not performed all over India or Bengal, even for that matter. But Shantiniketan eventually took it up, and then his plays got better known. Now, we do know that he was a prolific playwright. He wrote anywhere between 20 to 40 plays. I find that very odd that some say 20, others say 40. But I would say, from what I have heard and seen, about 25 plays that would be worth mentioning. And that's quite a lot, considering all that he did. And I'll just, I was trying to increase the screen size. Okay. So, as she mentioned, so he was pretty prolific. Now, the fact that they were not staged in India or in Bengal even made me think that why not? And in fact, I'm in Bombay, Mumbai, and we still don't see any of his plays here at all. I think in all the time I've been here, I've never seen a Tagore play. Now, why aren't they staged is worth a paper in itself. Maybe because there are other playwrights who have come forward. When you think about Badal Sarkar during the time that followed, or now Girish Karnad or Tendulkar, whatever the reasons. But if you look at the teachers in Tagore's play and his contribution, I think at the time when he was writing his plays, his main contribution was able to, because of his talent, he was able to combine different art forms, and we all know about his different genres that he worked in. So he brought that fusion to theater. So I would say it was a fusion that started off a trend. Today we see a lot of fusion. I'm not sure it was there at Tagore's time to have a fusion of poetry and music. Although it's part of our tradition, theater, we see that. But he did it in a way that was, in a way, modernistic in a way. And that's why it's always said that he combined traditional and modernism. Now, as I said, I've not seen many of his plays, and plays should be seen rather than read. Nor have there been any readings. But I think this has inspired me to at least plan a reading of it, which I hope you all will do in future festivals, so that people get to know his plays better. So going further, I'm trying to adjust my mobile a bit. Is it clear?
Yeah,
is the
you're
screen
perfectly all right. Please continue. Everything is
in
fine.
the middle of the screen?
Yeah,
I
no,
hope
no,
I'm not
perfectly
one
all right.
side
Please
or something.
continue. If there's any problem, I'll let you know.
Okay. I can't see myself, believe it or not. Anyway,
These things happen. Please, please.
I don't know whether it's because of your inputs or mine. Anyway, as I expected, his plays were spiritual and even existential. And this was probably what he got from the West more, the existentialism which was prevalent there and is still there so much. So they represent, both the things, the traditional aspect and the modernism. And that was a huge fusion at that time. And then, of course, as I said, he did write about spiritual themes, which was expected, and also social themes. Now, like caste, gender, and religious orthodoxy, which was not spoken about so openly at that time. And we know he tackled subjects that were not usually tackled, and religious orthodoxy was one of them. Again, the plays were written related to these. I will tell you a bit later the names of his most famous plays we see today even abroad. And the other element was symbolism. Now, we all know the meaning of symbolism in poetry. Now, what does it mean in plays? They say his plays were rich in symbol and metaphor. Now, he had allegorical characters and settings, making them universal in appeal. So it was when you bring in allegory, you take your work to another level altogether. And you can see that Tagore had risked that. And that's what attracted even world drama. His plays are, they say, staged today because of the allegorical aspect of his plays. As I said, I'm really not an expert in this, but I shall definitely get into it more thanks to this festival. Okay, now I'll get to his notable plays. The two plays which come up again and again are The Post Office, Dakghar. Dakghar, in how do you say it in Bengali? Dakghar, I guess, or in Hindi. Now, that was one of his most famous plays, and we see it's
Dakghar.
Dakghar. Okay.
It's called, yeah, you're very close to it. Dakghar.
Dakghar. I can never say the God like you all say it, of course. I'm not a
Oh.
Bengali. So,
No, even ghar is okay. Ghar is okay. It's more,
Ghar is of
Hindi
course
translation
our,
would be dak ghar. Yeah.
yeah, Dakghar. So it's called The Post Office in translation, which I don't know if it's an exact one, but it tells of a sick child confined to his room. So naturally, he is dreaming of freedom and connecting with the world outside. That itself, many of his work really gets back to childhood. We know that. That much we all know. And to write about a whole play about this, I'd love to, of course, see it or read it in full, which I haven't. I got parts of it online from here and there. And I guess there must be books printed. And again, that will take some time to go through them because plays have to be read really slowly because you not only read, you also imagine a lot. Okay, so that was one which we see it being presented again and again. The second is this you help me pronounce Ratka Karabi, red oleanders.
Rokto Korobi. Rokto Korobi.
Rakto Karabi.
That's the name of
Red
a flower as
oleander.
well.
It's a
Okay.
flower. It's the red
Yeah.
oleander.
That's what it says here, red oleanders. And this is a symbolic play about industrialism, dehumanization, and the nature of greed. And we know now that Tagore, by his very nature, was against all of this. Now, that we see also performed quite a lot in the industrialized world as well. And I can see it being performed in UK with all the industrialization that started there. And now, of course, it's gone to a very sophisticated level. And one wonders how Tagore would present this kind of consumerism. We can't call it industrialization, we can call it consumerism now, which is an extension of industrialization in a way. So that has been performed quite a lot. And the other one is Chitra Gada. How do you put it?
Chitrangada.
Chitrangada.
It's the name of a princess.
Yeah.
It's from
Princess who
Mahabharata.
was raised as a warrior and a journey of self-realization. Now, I think this was itself a big thing because it emphasizes gender identity, which was a topic again not dealt with. And I think this would be a wonderful play to even read together or stage. And it has found favor abroad. It has been staged, I noticed a few times. And that's nice because I can see them being attracted to this.
It's a dance drama.
Dance drama. That's, yeah.
More like musical.
Sorry?
Yeah.
More like a musical.
Musical. Yeah, which
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
as I said, all of its plays had that.
Yeah.
But still, it's attracted. In fact, let me see where it was staged last. Here it says. It was staged in 24, as recent as that, by Myriad Productions with an international cast. So it's finding favor. And when you say staging, it usually means also adapting because many plays are adapted and are barely and hardly ever staged as they are, especially when the person is no longer alive. Today, if they take my play and change it, I will start saying, why did you change it? But that time, this process of adaptation takes place a lot with plays that from the past. Okay, so that's what staged recently as 24. As recently as 24, we also saw a production from Bangladesh. This I'll never be able to pronounce. It's called Ditio Bijoy.
Yeah, you're
Anybody
right.
can pronounce?
Yeah, it's quite okay. Yeah.
Dwitiya.
Dvitiya,
Vijaya.
Dvitiya, Vijaya.
Vijaya. And it's, you said that Tagore, in times when there was no, the communications were weak, transport was hardly there. Well, this is his relationship with Argentina writer Victoria Ocampo. Imagine.
That's true. That's true.
Imagine that. Where in Argentina he connected there. And that I found was interesting. And when you mentioned that, he was connecting all over through letters, and that was just amazing. I did read, I tried to get some contemporary comments from uh, some some playwrights, theater people about his plays now, why they're not staged. And perhaps somebody asked this to Girish Karnad. And I don't think he was, he could relate very well. That's what he mentioned. It's not my thing. He did not think, relate with his plays that much. And so that's fine. I mean, it's something very personalized with the poem. Some people relate, others don't. But I think we should salute him in the end for the fusion, the broad vision, and of course, taking the Indian philosophy of plays to the world map. Thank you.
Wonderful exposition, Anju. Thank you
Thank
very much. And you have brilliantly said that, yes, this never crossed our mind that why are his plays not staged
Yeah,
both in
exactly.
Bengal and outside Bengal?
Yeah,
Forget about the world, in India. Of course,
yeah,
in Bengali, we have had all his musicals are very popular. One
yeah,
you named was Chitrangada. There's another
yeah,
one called Chandalika, right? Tashed Desh, and there are so many others.
yeah,
That's another, repertoire all by itself, his
yeah.
musicals. Hmm. So you could check on that also. And
Yes,
possibly because, it's very difficult to translate each song into another
Hmm.
language, and keep alive the essence. So I think
yeah,
since Ketuki is a person who is a translator here, so the problems of translators are huge. And as she was telling that, even during his time when he translated, there were voices that he was not a good translator.
right,
Then
right.
some people came out with a word like transcreate. Now, the poet has the poetic license or the liberty to transcreate his own verse in another language because he understands what he was trying to say, something
Right.
that would be lost in translation no matter how good a translator we are.
Yeah, yeah,
So, therefore, I believe that Tagore's translation stands the test of time. However, Tagore did not translate any of his plays into English. That could also be one of the reasons that,
yeah,
or possibly he didn't get time. I mean, he was into so many things. And I remember a family in Allahabad who are
mm,
his descendants, related to him, his niece's
mm,
family. So
yeah,
somebody there told me that Tagore chided somebody, and she was a new bride at home. He wanted to talk to somebody and he called for her and she was sleeping. So he
yeah,
censured her that in Bangla says, তোমাদের কাছে তো অনেক সময় তোমরা ঘুমোতে পারো. You all have a lot of time. You can afford to sleep. And that statement then, she was maybe not even 20. And when I was meeting her, she was well past 80. And she's that ever after that day, she has never slept on the bed. She could doze off
okay.
sitting on a chair. That was his impact. And what was he doing when he was not sleeping? He was writing letters.
Wow.
He slept for barely 4 to 5 hours, and
Yeah,
on each day he wrote about 4 to 5 songs, numerous plays, letters to everywhere. You know, prose, essays.
amazing.
I don't know. Even if anybody were to just copy, handwrite, all the things that he did,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think we'll finish it. He was so
No, he was,
prolific.
of course, he was inspired, and it was
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
coming from beyond.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
not coming from,
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
cannot come from an individual.
Yeah. And thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful
Welcome.
presentation. And
Welcome.
over to you, Arunima.
Thank you, Anju. And I hope you will read many more of his plays. And most of his plays had a lot of music, which Arindam points out that it might be difficult for international people to translate the songs, keep the same tune, but make it rhyme. So maybe that is why his plays have not become very popular. Could be. As you said, it's a little mind-boggling that when you try to find out how many number of plays there are, they say from 22 to 44. So I quickly checked the Tagore complete works, and I found out that he's written 55 plays.
Okay, okay. Just see. So I was wrong.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So,
Okay.
so lovely to hear from you, your
Okay.
observations. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Our next speaker is Dr. Pradeep, Dr. Pradeep Kaur Rajpal. I welcome you, Dr. Pradeep, to this session this evening. Dr. Pradeep Kaur Rajpal, Assistant Professor in DAV College, Jalandhar, holds a Master of Arts degree from Khalsa College, Jalandhar, and has earned both an MPhil and PhD from the prestigious SLIET Longowal, a central university. With over 17 years of dedicated teaching experience, she has made significant contributions to both academic and research fields. She participated in numerous national and international conferences, presenting insightful papers on diverse topics. She also chaired a session at an international conference organized by Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, Anandpur Sahib. Today, Dr. Pradeep will present a paper, Divine Inspiration and the Eternal Journey, a critical analysis of Rabindranath Tagore's Thou Hast Made Me Endless in Gitanjali. And this again brings back what Ketaki also had spoken in her talk this evening. So, আমারে তুমি অশেষ করেছো. Over to you, Dr. Pradeep. We are so eager to listen to you.
Thank you, Arunima ma'am, for such a nice introduction. So, am I audible to everyone? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So,
You are.
without ado, I'm going to start with my paper. So, I'll be giving a brief overview of what I have written. So, Rabindranath Tagore was a prolific writer, philosopher, and polymath whose works are deeply rooted in Indian spiritual traditions and universal humanism. He was a Nobel laureate and one of India's greatest poets, and has left an indelible mark on the world of literature with his profound poetic expressions. His collection, Gitanjali, was described on its first appearance in English as Song Offerings, published in 1910, holds a special place in world literature for its spiritual and philosophical depth. He was conferred the titles, Tagore was conferred the titles of Bard of Bengal and Gurudev by his admirers, reflecting his immense influence on Indian and global literature. In 1913, Tagore became the first non-European to be awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature for his anthology Gitanjali. And now I have to rectify, as Arindam sir has made correction, and I'll add that along with Gitanjali, other bodies of works, I have to add this, which had gained international recognition for its profound spiritual messages. Here, Srinivas Iyengar remarked, I quote, Tagore wrote lyrics with astonishing facility and his fecundity was amazing, unquote. His work reflects a deep engagement with both Eastern and Western philosophical traditions, making him a revered figure worldwide. Although Tagore was not a legal professional or judge, he was known for his broad contributions to Indian society in cultural and intellectual spheres, and his legacy as a poet, philosopher, and artist continues to inspire generations globally. The poem Thou Hast Made Me Endless is opening piece in Gitanjali, also referred to as Song 1. In this poem, Tagore explores the relationship between the human soul and divine, communicating complex spiritual concepts using rich metaphorical language. The present paper will explore and analyze Tagore's use of symbolism, the spiritual journey described in the poem, and how the interplay between the material and divine resonates with the larger themes in Gitanjali. Tagore's work also reflects the influence of mysticism and transcendentalism, with clear echoes of thinkers like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau, as well as the Bhakti and Sufi traditions that celebrate divine love and devotion. His poetic vision embraces the idea of a world where the boundaries between the temporal and eternal dissolve, leading the soul on a quest for enlightenment. So, this paper will also analyze Tagore's spiritual works, critical interpretations by scholars such as Krishna Datta and Andrew Robinson, and compare them with other mystic poets like Rumi and Kabir, who similarly explore the relationship between the finite and the infinite and the soul's eternal journey. By doing so, the paper aims to provide a comprehensive understanding of Tagore's spiritual quest as presented in the poem Thou Hast Made Me Endless. In their biographical and critical works on Tagore, scholars such as Krishna Datta and Andrew Robinson have explored the depth of Tagore's spiritual philosophy, noting how it interweaves both Indian and Western metaphysical traditions. Datta and Robinson point out that Tagore's spiritual works are rooted in Upanishad and Vedantic traditions of Indian thought, which emphasize the unity of the individual soul, Atman, with the ultimate reality, Brahma. This idea is central to understanding endless time as Tagore reflects the Upanishadic idea that the individual soul is a part of larger divine whole that transcends time. In Thou Hast Made Me Endless, Tagore touches upon idea of eternity, devotion, and spiritual fulfillment. The poem's opening lines, Thou hast made me endless, such is thy pleasure, evoke a sense of divine largesty, where the human soul is seen as an endless vessel of divine grace. This idea encapsulates the core theme of Gitanjali, the immortality of the soul and its connection with the infinite. The spiritual yearning for union with God is central to the poem. Tagore's poetry transcends personal devotion and becomes a universal quest for all humankind. He reflects a bhakti tradition similar to that of Indian saints like Kabir and Mirabai. This tradition emphasizes that ultimate purpose of human life is to become one with God, and all of life's experiences are pathways to achieving that union. One of the most striking features of the poem is Tagore's use of vivid imagery to convey abstract concepts. The poet compares the human body to a frail vessel, a metaphor that indicates the physical limitations of human condition. Despite this frailty, the soul, symbolized by water, fills the vessel. This image illustrates the idea that while the body is temporary and perishable, the soul is eternal and divine. It also brings to mind the Upanishadic idea that individual soul is part of universal soul. Another important image is that of the flute and reed. God is depicted as flute player and the human soul as a reed flute. In this analogy, the reed flute is empty, humble, and fragile, but when filled with divine breath, it produces music. This symbolizes the idea that humans, devoid of ego and worldly attachments, can become instruments through which God expresses His will. This image of flute also connects with the Bhakti tradition, where Lord Krishna, often associated with the flute, is seen as playing the divine music that leads soul towards spiritual liberation. Tagore's use of reed flute as a metaphor for human soul reflects his belief in divine inspiration. The poet's act of creation is not merely a personal endeavor, but an outcome of divine influence. The phrase, when thou commandest me to sing, it seems that my heart would break with pride, expresses the joy and humility of being an instrument for divine will. It demonstrates how creativity in Tagore's view is a form of worship and devotion. Tagore's poem also addresses the idea of reincarnation. In the line, the frail vessel thou emptiest again and again, and fillest it ever with fresh life, the poet alludes to the cyclic nature of life and death. This is consistent with the Hindu belief in reincarnation, where the soul is reborn in new forms after death of the physical body. This notion resonates with the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna states that the soul sheds the body like worn out garment and takes on a new one. Tagore's understanding of reincarnation is not only rooted in Hindu philosophy, but also in his personal spiritual experiences. He sees death as a moment of renewal rather than an end, where the soul's journey continues in new forms. The poet's belief in the cyclical nature of existence allows him to perceive life and death as mere phases in the eternal journey of the soul toward union with God. In the poem, the poet becomes an instrument through which the divine speaks. The line, "Thy infinite gifts come to me only on these very small hands of mine," illustrates the humility with which Tagore approaches his creative process. Despite the limitations of human expression, the divine allows the poet to partake in the action of creation, symbolizing a bond between the creator and the created. Whether or not Tagore himself attained spiritual union with the divine is unclear. However, the continual invocation of divine presence in his poetry suggests that he was deeply aware of transcendence and strived for it through his art. Tagore's work reflects a constant dialogue between the human and divine, where poetry serves as bridge between these two realms. Tagore's spiritual views often mirror those expressed in Bhagavad Gita, one of the most important texts in Hindu philosophy. The idea of surrendering the ego, aligning oneself with divine will, and accepting life's vicissitudes without attachment are central themes in Bhagavad Gita. Tagore's poems, especially in Gitanjali, echo these concepts. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna teaches that one should perform their duties without attachment to the fruits of their actions, maintaining equanimity in both success and failure. Similarly, Tagore's poetry reflects this detached yet deeply connected approach to life. The poet sings because he is called to do so, without concern for personal recognition or reward. This reflects the Nishkama Karma principle from Bhagavad Gita. Okay, I'm concluding. So his use of imagery drawn from everyday, the poem, like much of Gitanjali, reflects Tagore's engagement with Bhakti tradition, where the poet sees himself as a humble instrument of divine will. Tagore's spirituality, rooted in both personal experience and traditional Indian philosophy, resonates with universal themes of devotion, humility, and the eternal nature of the soul. Whether or not Tagore attained the spiritual union he so frequently described, his poetry continues to inspire readers to seek a deeper connection with the divine. Thank you.
A wonderful presentation, Dr. Pradeep. Thank you. And it's very interesting that out of 4 people present today, see, 2 of you have talked on Gitanjali. You know, it is some kind of a divine plan. So, and now I'll over to Arunima. You can please invite Shubhro.
Yes. Our next speaker is Shubhro Shourangshu Pujahari. He was born in Ghes, Odisha. He had a literary bent of mind from childhood. He started writing early in his high school days. He passed MA and MPhil in English literature from Sambalpur University and is doing his PhD on Sri Aurobindo and romance from the same university. Presently, he is working as a lecturer in English at Gangadhar Meher University, Sambalpur, Odisha. There are many published and unpublished poems and research articles to his credit. He has also contributed a chapter entitled Analyzing Gender in the Context of Modernity and Tradition in India for the book Gender Equality in the Workplace, Challenges and Solutions. His research articles are Critical Reading of Bakhtin's Epic and Novel and The Appropriation of Trauma in the Wasteland. Today, Shubhro is going to present his paper on Shantiniketan, the emergence of a modern Indian pilgrimage site. Over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, madam, for such a kind introduction, and my regards to Arindam sir as well, and all the guests that are present here. So actually, I pondered that, okay, we talk much about Tagore's literary oeuvre, the literary devices that he has employed, his relationship with the Western literary persons like G.B. Shaw
Your
or
voice is breaking.
W.B.
Your
Yeats and
voice is
others.
breaking.
Subro,
Okay, those persons who
your
yes, sir.
voice is breaking. Can you
Your
please
voice
check
is
if
breaking.
your Bluetooth is
Okay,
on? Please
sir.
put off your Bluetooth.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Let me try again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Is it fine now?
So yes, right now it is fine. Please continue. I'll tell you if it is
Yes,
if it
sir. Yes,
isn't.
sir. So the point that I'll be discussing, or I wanted to throw light upon is Santiniketan as a tourist space. Okay, we talk much about Tagore. He discussed a lot, within academia and outside academia as well. But what about Santiniketan? And that actually motivated me to present my thought on it. So the title of my paper, in a way, is Santiniketan, the emergence of a modern Indian pilgrimage site. So, as you all know, that pilgrimage in India is a timeless tradition deeply intertwined with spiritual quests and cultural heritage. The vast landscape of India is dotted with ancient temple towns and sites renowned for their legendary and often miraculous events. These pilgrimage routes not only attract devotees seeking divine blessings but also serve as repositories of historical and cultural significance. So, the journey of a pilgrimage in India traverses sacred geographies that blend physical travel with profound spiritual introspection. Each pilgrimage site is imbued with mythological narratives, religious rituals, and architectural splendor, offering pilgrims an opportunity to connect with their faith and cultural roots. From the Himalayan shrines of Badrinath and Kedarnath to the southern temples of Rameswaram and Kanyakumari, these sites form a tapestry of spiritual exploration where believers seek purification, blessings, and enlightenment. In post-independent Indian scenario, alongside traditional pilgrimage sites, a phenomenon of new pilgrimage destinations has emerged. These sites include places associated with national figures and sociocultural movements that shaped modern India. Examples such as Gandhi Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad, Birla House where Gandhi was tragically assassinated, and Santiniketan founded by Rabindranath Tagore as a center of education and artistic expression in 1901 have garnered pilgrimage status. Unlike other traditional pilgrimage sites linked to life cycle rituals such as baths and deaths, these new pilgrimage sites evoke reverence among visitors drawn not by personal rites but by the legacy and ideals of these iconic figures. Visitors engage in contemplation and reflection, honoring the contributions and philosophies that these sites represent, thereby forging connections beyond religious observance to encompass socio-cultural reverence and national pride. Santiniketan, in particular, stands as a unique example among these new pilgrimage sites. Founded by Tagore, Santiniketan transcends conventional pilgrimage paradigms by fostering an environment of artistic and intellectual exploration. Tagore's vision integrated education with cultural revival, emphasizing the synthesis of Eastern spirituality and modern thought. Visitors to Santiniketan experience a pilgrimage that combines historical reverence with aesthetic appreciation. The ashram's serene surroundings and Tagore's legacy of literature and music attract pilgrims seeking inspiration and enlightenment. Unlike traditional pilgrimages focused on rites and rituals, Santiniketan encourages introspection and intellectual engagement, challenging visitors to contemplate broader philosophical and cultural questions. Understanding the role of interpretation and experience at new pilgrimage sites like Santiniketan opens avenues for public historians to explore evolving notions of pilgrimage and cultural heritage. These sites invite reinterpretation of pilgrimage as not solely religious but also cultural and nationalistic, reflecting shifts in societal values and aspirations. Located around 180 kilometers from Calcutta, Santiniketan boasts a history as unique as its serene surroundings. Originally known as Bhuvandanga, meaning the grounds of Bhuvan Sinha, this area caught the attention of Maharshi Devendranath Tagore, the father of Rabindranath Tagore, in the early 1860s, almost by chance. Captivated by the unobstructed view of the western skies during sunset, Devendranath Tagore purchased the land and named his residence Santiniketan, which translates to abode of peace. This name eventually extended to this entire area, reflecting its tranquil and conducive environment for meditation. In 1901, Santiniketan became the site of Rabindranath Tagore's experimental school, marking the beginning of its association with educational innovation and artistic expression. It was here actually that Tagore received the news of being awarded the prestigious Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913, a milestone that underscored Santiniketan's significance on the global stage. In 1921, Tagore expanded his vision by establishing Vishwabharati University, further solidifying Santiniketan's reputation as a center for holistic education and cultural exchange. Yes, indeed, Santiniketan offers myriad in narratives waiting to be explored and woven together, from its tranquil beginnings as a retreat for meditation to its transformation into a vibrant center of learning and cultural heritage under the visionary leadership of Rabindranath Tagore. Each story contributes to Santiniketan's allure as a place of profound historical, educational, and artistic significance in India. For instance, the Uttarayan complex in Santiniketan stands as a poignant testament to Tagore's life and legacy, housing several houses built in distinctive architectural styles. Tagore himself resided in each of these houses from 1919 onwards, shaping them into spaces of creativity and intellectual exploration. Today, Uttarayan serves not only as a repository of Tagore's personal artifacts, but also as a museum and archive dedicated to preserving his memory and contributions to literature, education, and international dialogue. Originally conceived as living quarters for Tagore, this Uttarayan has evolved into a cultural hub within Santiniketan. The complex now includes a small museum that underwent a redesign in 2011 to commemorate the sequential of Tagore's birth. The museum's primary objective is to narrate a story of Tagore's life through a collection of photographs, manuscripts, personal belongings, and textual descriptions. However, despite its rich content, the museum has been critiqued for its outdated approach to exhibition, design, and visitor engagement. So, central to understanding Tagore's legacy is his vision of fostering global unity and cultural exchange. The motto of Vishwabharati University that we know, where the whole world meets in a single nest, encapsulates Tagore's aspirations to create a space where diverse cultures and ideas converge harmoniously. Tagore's interactions with figures like Einstein during his visit to Berlin in 1930 exemplify his pursuit of intellectual dialogue transcending national boundaries. Despite featuring photographs of such significant meetings, the museum fails to contextualize or explore the profound philosophical exchanges that occurred, such as Tagore's discussion with Einstein at his home in Caputh. The Uttarayan complex and its museum play a crucial role in preserving and disseminating Tagore's legacy to the world. However, to fulfill its potential as a dynamic educational and cultural institution in the 21st century, the museum must embrace innovative museum practices that enhance visitor experience, encourage deeper engagement with Tagore's ideas, and utilize technology to bring his works to life. By reimagining his exhibition design, incorporating interactive elements, and contextualizing historical events within a global dialogue framework, the museum can evolve into a vibrant hub that honors Tagore's vision of universal humanism and intellectual exchange. Thus, Uttarayan can continue to inspire future generations to engage critically with Tagore's philosophy and contributions to literature, education, and international understanding. Yes. So Tagore's decision to build these houses like Konark, Shamali, Punascha, Udayan, and Udichi uh, were actually not merely utilitarian, certainly. Each structure was imbued with symbolic and functional significance. For instance, Shamali, constructed in around 1934, remains a standout example of Tagore's experimental architecture. Made from clay and tar, a node to traditional building materials used in rural Bengal, Shamali was designed to integrate with its natural surroundings while serving as a model for affordable housing for villagers. The murals adorning its walls, created by students of Kala Bhavana, the Fine Arts Department of Vishwabharati add to this artistic allure and cultural richness. Despite their historical significance, Tagore's houses in Santiniketan are not curated as traditional museums. While some houses display photographs and artifacts related to Tagore's life and work, the emphasis is more on preserving the authenticity of the living spaces where Tagore and his associated lives, worked, and interacted. This approach allows visitors to experience these environments as they were during Tagore's lifetime, fostering a deeper connection to his legacy and the intellectual milieu of Santiniketan. Tagore's extensive travels influenced his architectural and experiments and furniture designs, yet these aspects are not adequately highlighted by the museum authorities. Uh, in a way, we may say. Insights into Tagore's vision for Shamali as a model of sustainable, affordable housing using traditional building techniques such as earthen water pots for insulation remain largely untold. Such details could enhance the visitor experience and deepen appreciation for Tagore's progressive ideas in architecture and rural development. So, in conclusion, while Tagore's houses in Santiniketan offer a rich tapestry of historical and architectural significance, there is a room for improvement in how these spaces are interpreted and presented to visitors by weaving together narratives of Tagore's collaboration and influences, enhancing accessibility to restricted areas, and showcasing the innovative aspect of his architectural experiments. Santiniketan can enrich visitor experience and highlight Tagore's enduring relevance in shaping modern Indian cultural and intellectual discourse. Embracing these opportunities will ensure that Tagore's legacy continues to inspire and resonate with future generations, both in India and globally. Thank you.
An excellent critical analysis of Tagore's Uttarayan. More than that, I would like to add, which I did not perhaps in the beginning, that the theme of our meet, SLF, is Rangamati. Ranga, as those from east of India, or maybe Odisha would also understand, Ranga means red and Mati is earth. And the baseline explains it, Rangamati, the red earth dialogue. So what you have done right now is you have carried, the red earth dialogue several notches higher. Thank you for that, Shubhra.
Thank you.
It was very interesting.
Indeed, it was very interesting. I live in Shantiniketan now, and all these buildings that you very rightly pointed out, uh, Tagore's unique sense of aesthetics was not only limited to his writings, but also to the architecture, to the classroom seating arrangement of Vishwabharati. He, wanted an open air classroom scenario I mean, so many years back. And right now, NEP 2020 is talking about very, very similar
Precisely. Yes.
expositions
Exactly.
and classroom transactions. So it was
Yes.
very, very interesting, Mr.
Yes.
Pujahari. Thank you so much. I
I would
would
like to
now
add,
like
I would like to add, Arunima, that you see, yes, a critical appreciation is something. We will take the pointers and we'll forward it to the Vishwabharati authorities at some point, once our anthology comes out. And let's see, that is what dialogue is meant to be, constant interaction, telling the authorities what new thinkers like you are reflecting on. Thank you. Arunima, over to you.
I'm grateful, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Now we'll have the
I would like
book launch. So we'll have two
no, we
books to
have
be
the
launched.
poems right now.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, the 2 poems.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Just a minute, I'm getting a call. আমাকে 2 মিনিট দিন, আমি কল করছি আপনাকে। পূর্ণি দেবী, না পূর্ণি দেবী কলেজ অব্দি আসুন।
You need to mute yourself here.
Sorry. We would like to now proceed on to round 2, which will have poem recitations, renditions by 3 of our esteemed guests, Dr. Ketuki Dotto, followed by Anju Makhija and Dr. Pradeep Kaur Rajpal. So over to you, Dr. Ketuki Dotto.
Ketuki, kindly unmute yourself.
Yes.
Thank you.
I was simply mesmerized by the beautiful readings of the papers, and now I'm reading out a poem, just one poem. I am a Dalit girl. You see, this is from my published book, The Music of Eternity. I am a Dalit girl. I was beaten once, forgetting my family, 2 buckets of water from a pond owned by Thakurs on the other end of the street. Drubbed was I, black and blue. Gagged was my moan, that ache all over my body. It was ignored by all, known, unknown. My pain in mind, my ache in body had no ointment to cure. No medicine was yet discovered to heal my wounds for sure. I trudged along to reach my shack, lay in my bed terror struck. A horde of goons barged in, on my flesh and youth went feasting. I am a Dalit girl, not meant to be touched, but to be ripped and tasted, to have my chastity outraged. I am a Dalit girl. I am just a Dalit girl. Thank you.
A very poignant
That
poem,
was
evocative and poignant. And this relates to the problem that we are seeing in Bengal these days. Very, very contemporary. Thank you. Thank you, Ketuki. Now can we call Anju Makija? Can you come up with your poem? Thank you. Let us finish this round faster. We have lost a lot of time. Thank you.
just a minute. I need to go for 5 minutes. Please excuse me. I'll come back. You all please carry on. Very sorry.
I am here. You can go. Please unmute yourself. Anju, please unmute yourself. Anju, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. The poem I'm reading is quite short. And again, we talk about Tagore and we always think about spiritualism. And there are gods who are formal and there are gods who are known and there are gods who are not formal and gods who are hidden. So this was one experience where I'd gone to see a so-called formal god and discovered another god instead. It's called Gods in the Hills. I see his eyes first, besieged by wrinkles, then him, still like a Buddha. Those eyes, have they lived countless lives in the Sayadri enclaves? Now the formal god comes up. He's a real Mahatma, says Swamiji. The smile spreads to engulf the mountain range. Stepping out of the temple, out of padukas, Swamiji blesses villagers falling at clean feet. The other god. The barefoot Mahatma wobbles, tilting towards his god. Hugged like a stone statue, he falls at Swamiji's feet. Those eyes, bending to touch bare feet. I see bleeding cuts on the heels. Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely poem. Quite dramatic in structure as well. Thank you. Now can we have Dr. Pradeep with your poem? Please unmute yourself.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So it's a nature poem inspired by Tagore's nature poetry. The sky breathes softly like an old friend, carrying secrets on the wind it sends. It speaks to me, and I can hear the stories of nature, distant yet near. Beneath the trees, in their quiet shade, I feel the pulse of life they have made. Each leaf that falls, each branch that sways, is like a heartbeat marking the days. Mountains stand steadfast and wise. I see their strength in the morning skies. Like Tagore, I find a quiet peace in the way nature brings a sweet release. Flowers bloom with joy untamed. The rain falls soft, calling my name. And in those moments, I'm no longer alone, for the earth's deep love is always shown. Sometimes I sit by the whispering stream, lost in thought as in a dream. The water flows, carrying my fears, washing away the weight of the years. In every sunset's glowing hue, I see the world reborn, renewed. And as the night wraps me in its care, I feel the universe with me there. The stars above, like guiding lights, remind me of life's endless flight. Through time and space, through joy and strife, nature weaves the threads of life. They speak of tranquility, soft and clear, of peace that calms all that we fear. In nature's stillness, serenity flows, a bliss the earth quietly bestows. Not just the silence of the mind, but a deeper joy so rare to find, where the heart feels full, the soul at ease, and time itself begins to cease. I hear the earth in every breeze, in the rustling grass and swaying trees, its voice a lullaby, soft and sweet, guiding my soul with every beat. When morning breaks and birds take flight, I stand in awe of the boundless light. For in their wings I see the way, nature's promise of a brighter day. Nature's promise of a brighter day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep. We have the two book launches. Can we have them very quickly? We begin with Dr. Ketuki with your book, followed by Anju Makhijas. So let us finish this. You have 10 minutes, but if you can reduce it by a few minutes, it would be nice. So first 5 minutes is what you talk about the book, and then we can ask you something, suggest, comment, all that. So over to you, Ketuki, and then Anju.
What shall I do? Shall I sing a song?
We will do that later, but let us have the book release first.
Please, a bit louder. I can sing a song now if you want me. It is dedicated to Tagore.
No, I know, but we have the songs in the fourth round. So let us have
please
the
a
book
bit
release.
louder. I can't hear you.
I said let us have the book release now. Can you hear me?
Okay, book release. Okay.
Yeah.
I have
Round
book.
4 will be songs. So we'll end the program with a song of yours. So you can go ahead and.
It will be a very sad song.
No, never mind.
This is An Unshared Secret and Other Stories. It has been published by Pen Prints Calcutta, and it has 20 short stories in it. It has a wide range, that is starting from the sleuth stories to the terrorist one. It is talking about terrorist, a sleuth, and at the same time we have 2 science fiction and other stories as well. In one story we find an old man is simply being not cared for by his family. He keeps on taking lottery tickets, buying lottery tickets, and he thinks that he will win the sum someday. He wins. He rushes to the lottery counter to claim the money of 1,50,000 rupees. He says that I won the money. Then the man tallies the number he had come with the original number he had. He said, "Sir, you have missed by only one number. That is, you are saying your number is 2300500. It is 2300501. Sorry." So such beautiful stories are there. If you want to read, you have to get it. You have to contact Amazon as well. It is also available on Flipkart. And another book has come out in this particular year, 2024, The Value of Woman. This is a translation of Sharad Chandra's Narir Mulya. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ketuki.
I didn't have much to talk about.
No,
because if you read the book,
yeah.
I mean, these 2 books,
I can vouch that Ketuki's stories are amazing. Different Truths, which is hosting this program, we have published quite a few of our stories, and we look forward to many more from you. We have already discussed quite a few ideas. Yeah. Yeah, so Ketik is an excellent storyteller, other than being a, erudite, academic, and nice, wonderful poet. So thank you.
Thank you so
Now,
much.
can we have Anju Makhija? Anju, please unmute yourself. Yeah, thank you. So we go ahead with your book release. Similar thing.
Okay. Sure. Thank you very much. Just a second.
You will have to show the cover of the book.
Yeah, I'm doing
Because,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Can you see it? Or is it the other way around?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Ma'am, if you could just hold it a little to the left. Yes, yes. That's great.
Okay. The book is called Mumbai Traps, and it is my collected plays. And since I was talking about Tagore and plays, I thought I would release this book here. And that's it. I mean, I can tell you a bit about it if you like. Would you want me
Please
to
do.
tell you
Yeah,
something?
please go ahead. You have 5 minutes. You can please go ahead.
Yes. Okay, I'll tell you quickly. Well, the book has 6 plays. Can I put it away? It's okay, right? Thank you. Okay, quickly. I live in Mumbai, and the book is called Mumbai Traps. For the simple reason that when I wanted to put all my plays together, firstly, I realized they were all about Mumbai, and they were all about the difficult and yet, in a way, joyous life in the city. And I found that Mumbai Traps was, as each one are caught in a trap. So, really moving away from the lovely, glorious feel of Tagore to the reality of Mumbai, where people hang from trains and they cannot get in and they cannot get place to live. So, for example, I think because it's a talk on Tagore, I must say I'm not sure what inspired all this, but I've also been interested in many genres, and my plays combine all of it. Um, to start with, is a play called The Last Train, which was staged here last week, and it's a political satire, and so I've chosen to get into politics a bit in a very indirect way, because I too had the thing to commute. I was commuting, and I could see how difficult it all was while I was doing it. And it's called The Last Train, and it is a political satire. I hope you all get to read it sometime. Oh yeah, the book is available on Amazon. Not that I want you to buy it necessarily, but if you're interested in what it is to live in a city. So I'll just read a bit since we don't have much time. I won't talk ad hoc. Now, Mumbai is a central character cast in manifold shades, sometimes as a reflection of the city's obsessions, other times as a confidant to its secrets. I don't want to go into any long talks. It is The Last Train is set one night in one train in one compartment. Next, we go to another one. It's called Wishes for Horses. It's about the tight conditions that people live in Mumbai, where they can't find a place to sleep. And then we go on to the next play, Meeting with Lord Yama, which is a poetic drama. So, like I said, I don't know. I also seem to be inspired by many genres and art forms, and it is written in verse. The whole play is written in verse, and following that is a musical with songs. So when I cannot say I was influenced by one particular person, but I was so happy to see that there are so many playwrights who are combining so many different genres right from the time that Tagore started doing that, and even before that, it's been part of the culture even in the West. And I could go on about the other plays, but I won't do that. There's another one called Now She Says She's God, and Cold Gold about women. Now, obviously, being a woman, I would write about women issues. And this is also a combination of genres where I combine, where I give women the upper hand, not as victims, but as people who can do their own thing. In this case, they even plan to sell jewelry that doesn't belong to them. So I try to look at the different facets of women. That's what the intention is in this. So it's a eclectic mix in that sense, I guess. And I'll just read and end with this. This is by Alok Bala, who was a well-known critic, theatre critic, and otherwise an academic. He said Mumbai has become an example of a place where glamour, international gangsterism, drugs, religious fanaticism, local chauvinism, communal politics, sexual fantasies, careerist ambitions, and success have come together to form a bizarre, surreal experience. These plays were written before the publication of works like Maxim City, and they explore the steamy, impenetrable, murky, and unredeemable, corrupt life in India's first genuinely metropolitan city. So they're, I guess, quite juicy in that sense. And I don't think it applies only to Bombay. These days, it's everywhere. I guess closer to home, like Calcutta or Kolkata, it's everywhere. It used to be only Bombay, and Bombay was a place of bomb blasts and terrorism and this and that. And these awful times, I guess I write these plays to express what I feel. Thank you.
Wonderful, Anju. In fact, I have a personal connection with Bombay also. I began my journalistic career in Bombay, beginning with Rajmohan Gandhi's Himmat, 1981. And then when Himmat had to suddenly close down, I went to EPW, Economic and Political Weekly. I worked there for about 2 years. And then I worked with Pritish Nandi's Illustrated Weekly of India. So all this was early 80s to mid 80s.
Yeah.
And, Bombay taught me many valuable lessons. And yes, as you said, Suketu Mehta's Maximum City, I still have that, I call it my Karma Bhumi, and
Yeah.
I pick up anything that deals with Bombay. So I assure you that I'll certainly pick up this book. Thank you.
You know,
And look
for a
forward.
playwright or for a writer, Bombay provides so much
Yeah.
to write about.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
does
Bombay,
Calcutta nowadays.
Kolkata, these are the
Kolkata is-
places which
Kolkata
have
is
so
so
many
hot.
themes. Yeah, so many themes are, no matter
Yeah.
how much you write, there's still some left.
Yeah. And the genres also are so interesting when you experiment one with the other. And
Yeah.
Tagore, I
Have you-
guess,
Have
must
you
have
done
enjoyed
such?
that.
Have you tried any hand in musical plays, by the way?
I've done one which is in the book.
Okay,
It's called Off the Hook.
okay, okay.
And I would love for it to be staged. And I've had a couple of readings, but nobody's picking it up. I don't know why, but
Okay.
let's keep the fingers crossed. It's not easy with musicals because it has to
I-
click at every level.
Yes, yes. It's
And,
difficult. It's difficult. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Now that brings
Well,
us to the last
We have
round.
two
Thank you.
songs.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for launching it.
We'll first
Dr.
call
Pradeep,
Dr.
Dr.
Pradeep. Ek minute,
Yes.
Purnima, and then we'll end with Ketiki's song.
Yeah, Dr. Pradeep Kaur's song and then Kitiki's song.
I'm gonna
Dr.
share
Pradeep,
my
if you
screen.
want to share your YouTube,
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have done the recording.
I'm just telling,
Viber,
just give me a minute. I'm telling you.
Okay.
You see this panel down below where you have the audio, video.
Sir, I'll do that. I've learned.
You
I've
link
learned
on,
more.
click on share.
Yeah,
Click on
share and
share.
then I'll do. Okay,
Yeah.
just wait.
Yeah. Click on share and share that video from your desktop.
Okay, fine.
Did you click share?
Just a minute, sir. Just a minute.
Please also click share sound. When you click share,
Okay, I'll do that. Is it visible?
Yeah.
So I'll start from the beginning.
You can play the.
This is I just want to add here, this is Hindi version of Tagore's song, Sokhi
Okay.
Bhabona Kahare Bole. It's
Wow.
like, if
Shoki
I'm not
Bhabona
wrong.
Kahare Bole. Wow, beautiful song.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the Hindi version. So
Okay.
I'm going to play that.
Please do.
I'll start from the beginning.
Right.
I tried today only. Okay. It is audible?
Yeah, it is audible.
Is it?
No, you please play the song, then we'll say your voice is audible.
It's not audible?
No, I can't hear it, no.
So Harvey, it's not audible. Just a minute. Audible नहीं हो रहा. क्या करें?
Please play करिए आप, तब होगा. आपने play नहीं किया.
I've done. Stop share.
When
Let
you
me.
click share screen, in the left corner, there is a button called share sound. So please click
Okay,
that.
share sound. Share sound.
Left hand
You
side
please-
there.
You please
In the
click
left
share
side?
screen.
Okay.
You click share screen, that green color arrow, and then on the left hand side corner, share sound is there. Please click that. And then click share, the blue button again.
Shall I send? Okay, shall I send you? Hello?
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
please
send us the link. Send us the link in the
Ah.
chat. In the meanwhile, we are calling Ketuki. And then
Okay,
we'll
I'll
Purnima,
send you.
You could share it. Yeah. Send the
Sir,
link.
I have your number, so I'm sending you.
No. Okay, you send it to
No,
me.
no,
I'll
put
send
it in the chat box.
Here's
Here,
the
here,
chat
in the
box.
chat
Here's
box.
the chat box. You know, go to meeting group chat.
Chat box पे link जाएगा मेरा?
हाँ जाएगा
हाँ,
जाएगा
जाएगा.
बिल्कुल जाएगा.
It's a video recording now.
हाँ आप लिंक भेजिए ना, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
It's not a link, ma'am. It's a video recording. I've just done.
Oh, you have not loaded it on YouTube?
No, not at all, not at all. Just
Did
today.
Did you click the share sound button?
Yes, I have done
Now
that.
play it again. Now play it again.
Let me. I'm sending you, sir. Just a minute, ma'am. Sir, I have sent you. If you can see, you can forward.
Can you share it here? Okay, I'll share it with Ordima.
Oh, just a minute. It's loading. It's done. It's done. If you see.
Wait.
Now can you just click play?
I'll do that. Are you able to listen? No. Are you
Wait.
able to listen?
No.
Not?
Yes, I can hear it. Yeah. I'm sharing it with Ordima.
Okay. I'll stop share.
In the meanwhile, you can call Ketuki. Ketuki, are you there? After Ket.
So I'm there.
Okay. Can we have your song till we are sort of sorting
Okay,
out
it's a
Pradeep's song?
Bengali song.
Or
It is
you
really.
sent me the video.
I'm sending it to you. Wait.
I don't have any video. I'll be singing right
No,
now.
it's not
Yes,
for you.
yes,
It's
you
not for
sing
you.
live.
Ketuki, you
Not for
carry
you.
on. It is for somebody else's video.
Okay. It is dedicated to Tagore. I'm asking a slew of questions. That why this lady doctor of our Jikar had to be so brutally raped and so heinously murdered while she was on duty. What has happened to the religion of man, which you emphasized so much? And Rabindranath Thakur, do you have any answer? Should we ask her to rest her soul in peace? Or should we wake up everyone to this reality? And should we hold out an appeal to everyone here and abroad, anywhere, at any nook and corner of the world, to say that come back to your senses? What is happening? It is not just a stray incident. It may happen anywhere in India
And it is happening
abroad.
all over. Can we have the song, please? Thank you.
হে রবীন্দ্রনাথ, কি হলো মানুষের ধর্ম আজ? হে রবীন্দ্রনাথ, কি হলো মানুষের ধর্ম আজ? এক চিকিত শখ কন্যা কাঁদে মরণে, এক চিকিত শখ কন্যা কাঁদে মরণে, উল্লাসে নাচে দর্শক, ভাঙে হাড় খুবলে নেই চোখ, মনুষ্যত্বের আজ নির্বাসন হে রবীন্দ্রনাথ, কি হলো মানুষের ধর্ম আজ? কি বলো তুমি হে রবি ঠাকুর, কি বলো তুমি হে রবি ঠাকুর, কেমনি মানুষ ফিরে পাবে মনুষ্যত্ব বলো ঠাকুর, রবি ঠাকুর, কি দোষ বলো সে মেয়ের বলো ঠাকুর, রবি ঠাকুর, কি দোষ সে মেয়ে? যদি বলি শান্তি পাক সে আত্মা, যদি বলি শান্তি পাক সে আত্মা, যদি বলি অশ্রু থামা মৃতার মা, তবুও কি মানুষ হবে আজ মানুষ? তবুও কি মানুষ হবে আজ মানুষ? তবুও কি মানুষ হবে আজ মানুষ? রবি ঠাকুর প্রণমী তোমারে, রবি ঠাকুর প্রণমী তোমারে। Thank you.
Wow, chamatkar. Such a fabulous song you have sung. And hearing you, one is quite clear that you are trained in classical music. You have a trained
Thank you
voice
so
that comes
much.
across. Ornima, could
Thank
we
you.
have Dr. Pradeep's song now?
Yes.
My mother
Which-
was a vocalist. I am not a trained one.
No, no,
I
no.
tried. I know I
Thanks a
couldn't
lot. Thanks a lot.
leave
Thanks
any
a lot.
impact on the audience, yet
Thank
I tried. Because my
Wonderful.
dada requested, that's why I
Thank you.
tried.
Thank you. thanks for the lovely song. And
Arindam, I would now request you to kindly give the vote of thanks.
thank you. Thank you, Arunima. I've seen some people have left because it's getting pretty late. I don't blame them. So I thank our chief guest, Ketuki Datto, Dr. Ketuki Datto to be precise, to be here. And she was very sporting despite a bad throat. She was forthcoming and she sang a beautiful song. Then we had Anju Makhija, 3 wonderful rounds with her, and very, very interesting again. Dr. Pradeep Kaur, you were very, very sporting. Today itself, she interacted and she prepared everything, the song, all the 3 rounds. So hats off to you,
And
So,
Shubhro Shorangshu Pujahari.
and of course, I'm coming to him, Shubhro Pujahari, Shubhro S. Pujahari. His presentation of the paper was very interesting. He raised quite a pertinent points there. And I look forward. All these papers, by the way, would be published in the Tagore anthology that will bring out the end of the year. So all of you will get the copies also. So, some of you may have to skip some parts, but the anthology will have the entire paper. And thank you, Arunima, for excellently
pleasure.
conducting the program. And I take the opportunity to thank Onumita Roy. She is a managing editor of different groups, as well as she's the festival director here. So it's wonderful to have all of you. And as I said, I mentioned Kishore Bhattacharya. Thanks once again to him for the wonderful support that he gave us, and thanks to each and every one of you. So with that, I say good night and
good night.
Bye from.
Good night. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you, Arindam Da and Arunima, for everything. It was really a nice evening, which I'm having after
It was a
long
brilliant
time.
evening. Very enlightening.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Very nice.
Bye.
More
Qualitatively
amazing. Thank
very
you.
rich. Thanks, Dr. Pradeep Kaur. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. So, many thanks, sir, and I'm not able to do that.